Hello viewers, I hope you are doing well, and today we'll be talking about the new graphics card from Gigabyte, that's GTX 1650 OC Edition 4GB. Can I have the graphics card please? And here it is. Let's check this out. So 1650 chipset from NVIDIA is what you can say a new entry-level graphics chipset in the market. So this will replace the previous generation 1050 or 1050 Ti chipset that was available in the market. So as you can see, this chipset is more tended towards consumers who like to build PCs on a budget, who wants to get the most out of their graphics card, who wants bang for their buck. So for a graphics card like this, what can we expect? So these graphics cards are mostly aimed towards people playing video games such as Counter-Strike, or you can say Dota 2, who are, or AAA, or not, we won't say AAA titles, ESL titles, competitive titles, League of Legends, Paladins, maybe a little bit of PUBG Lite. So these kind of games, Overwatch, so these kind of games are, people expect to run these kind of games on a graphics card like this. But is this graphics card just for that purpose? That's a big question that you have to ask yourself. So we played World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, and Battle for Azeroth is a quite, if you can play it at low settings and it can be run by any graphics card, but when you push everything, all the settings up to the max, this game can be considered as a AAA title, because this game is very demanding when you push everything to the max. So what we found while playing Battle for Azeroth, World of Warcraft, with this graphics card, that it can easily sustain, like when you're doing dungeons, it can easily sustain 90 plus frames per second at max level. If you have everything maxed out, it can run the game at 90 FPS. But when you're out and about in the world, or you are in a city where it's there's a lot of characters, a lot of NPCs, and a lot of other players just interacting with you, so the FPS drops somewhere around 60. So for a card like this to run this game at maximum settings at this FPS level is a very good sign. So moving on, what are the features of this card? What makes this card different from the other cards out there in the market? So let's have a look here. We are at the product page now, and off the top we can see the first main feature of this graphics card, which we call WindForce 2X cooling system. So basically what it is, that there are 200mm unique blade fans which spins alternately. This is called WindForce technology, that is patented for Gigabyte graphics card. So basically we'll get a breakdown of what this means. So this is a breakdown of the graphics card itself. So in the front you have the two fans with the front shroud, IO shroud, and then you have the heat pipe and direct touch GPUs, where you can see the copper plate, like the heat pipe that directly contacts with the copper plate, which is in direct contact with the chipset. So it allows for better transfer of heat, which can be easily dissipated by the two fans, two unique blade fans, alternate spinning fans that are on the top of the shroud. And then we have the ultra durable component PCB that we use for graphics card, and at the back we have protection backplate. These are some of the features. We'll go in deep with what is alternate spinning fan, right? So here, first of all, what we can see is the alternate spinning fan design. So on the top you can see there are two fans which rotates in a separate direction, right? This one is rotating anti-clockwise and this one is rotating clockwise. So what happens in this case is that airflow is not restricted, so there is a uniform airflow within the graphics card itself, so it does not collide with the warm air inside. So heat is dissipated very easily and does not, how do I put it, does not collide with the warm air inside, which is happening here. You can see two anti-clockwise spinning fan, which what happens is the airflow is this way, and then there is another stream of air this way, and this air is collided in the center here. So what happens is the air cannot easily dissipate out of the graphics card, so it generates more heat so your graphics card stays a lot hotter than it's supposed to. So this is alternate spinning fan design, which helps in the cooling of the graphics card, and this technology is unique to Gigabyte as this is Gigabyte's patented technology. Next up we have 3D active fan technology. So basically what this is a power saving system. As you can see, the more and more the new technology that are coming out in the market, they're promoting themselves as being eco-friendly. So what they actually do is when your system is idle and you are not using that much power, or your graphics card is not generating that much heat, basically what happens, your graphics card goes into an idle mode. In this mode, what basically happens is that your fans shut down, your fan does not rotate because the graphics card is not generating that much heat where it needs to be cooled. So when you put some workload on the graphics card and the graphics card reaches a certain threshold of temperature where it needs to be cooled down, the fan will again start spinning and cool your system down. So this is called 3D active fan technology. So this is basically that. So the next feature that we have on the list is the heat pipe that directly touches the GPU. So basically what happens is up until, let's say, a year or two back, what used to happen is there was the chip. On top of that there would be a thermal pad or something. On top of that there will be thermal pad or thermal component, and on top of that there will be a copper block which then connects to the heat pipe, which will then connect to the heat sink, and so on. So what happened is the transfer of heat used to take a longer period to get from the GPU to the heat sink and vice versa. So basically what this does, what happens here is the heat pipes are directly in contact with the GPU. So basically what happens is it can actively transfer heat from the GPU directly to the heat sink. So what happens is the heat transfer is quite quick, and the fins array system, what happens is the heat is spread out through the whole heat sink very efficiently, which can be then picked up by the fans, which said the unique bladed fans that can be easily picked up by that and dissipated into the atmosphere, or you can say the PC atmosphere, which can then be exhausted through the exhaust fan in the PC itself. So one thing that we forgot to mention here is the composite heat pipe. This is the heat pipe that we talked about that directly comes in contact with the GPU, right? So basically what this is made out of, there is a hollow pipe in center, then there will be some stain powder with a coating, then the axial groove, if I am not mistaken, you can show that. And what happens is in between this inner pipe and the outer pipe is a liquid substance that also helps in retaining heat or absorbing heat from the GPU. So this is the heat pipe component that it's made of. We can see it clearly when we put the picture up. Next up as a feature we have Rgb Fusion, right? So Rgb Fusion is the RGB ecosystem that we associate with Gigabyte and Aorus products. So different brands have the different name for it. For Gigabyte it's Rgb Fusion, and we are using Rgb Fusion 2.0 here. It has 16.7 million customizable color options for you to choose from, and some separate settings that you can go through. So I'll just ease that out here. So first up you have color cycling, that you can see the color cycles goes here, color cycling. Then you have constant, where you can just choose a single static color, or you can have flashing, so where it just blinks, blinks, blink, blink, blink. Next up we have double flash, where it's just blink, 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 blink. And last but not the least, we have the breathing. In breathing, basically what happens, it gradually increases in strength, then decreases in strength. So these are some of the colors that, some of the customizable options that you get in RGB when you buy this graphics card. And apart from that, you can set up the speed and at which it will blink or breathe. These are some of the options. I know if you buy this graphics card, and if you know anything about graphics card, you know how to customize these things. So we will not go further into that. Okay, so next up we'll go for the Aorus engine. This is basically a software that allows you to overclock your graphics card. When you install the software, it will detect your graphics card, and then from there on you can easily overclock the speed of the fan or the base clock or the boost clock. You can change in between that timing. Memory timings, you can change those, and you can overclock your graphics card with ease, if I might add. So these are some of the basic features of GeForce GTX 1650 Gaming OC 4G edition. So this was the basic overview for this graphics card. I guess you guys liked this video. So if you did like this video, kindly put a thumbs up here, or if you're watching this on Facebook, please hit that like button, put some smiley faces on it, whatever you like. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, kindly put a like on this video if you liked it, and if you really liked it, then subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date about the new contents that we develop regularly. If you want to know more about further upcoming products from Gigabyte that will be available in Bangladesh pretty soon, you can subscribe to our channel. So this was it. This was the review for GTX 1650 Gaming OC 4G edition. I'm Ghazi Rahman signing off, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a nice day.
We about to turn it on.